Hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace back again with another 10 video ads video. I went by the flea market today and picked up another 16 VHS tapes, which put me at about 90 that I had not shown yet. I know I'm way behind on everything: Laserdiscs, VHD discs, DVDs, VCDs, CDs, you name it, I'm behind. But I figured, well, I'm the furthest behind with VHS, so I'll go ahead and do a VHS pickups video, and at the end I'm going to try and tease a few things. I'm such a tease. First up, on the old Thorn EMI label, Endless Night. I immediately noticed that in the cast is Haley Mills, who of course had a dual role in the original Parent Trap Disney film. I also noticed Britt Eklund and George Saunders. George Saunders, if I'm not mistaken, was in the British horror film Village of the Damned, which had a sequel, Children of the Damned, and I know they remade Children of the Damned, but I don't know if they remade Village of the Damned or not. But all the Thorn EMI's releases up until I think a certain point, because I do think they switched to the slipcases eventually. But for the longest time they used these hard shell cases, which are preferable to the clamshell cases that Disney and Good Times used, because those tended to be squishable or crushable. Whoever owned this prior to me felt the need to put their initials on the face label. Fortunately, they did not feel that it was necessary to put their initials on the spine label, so that is unaffected. Whenever I race through this fast, I tend to make mistakes, so hopefully I won't make too many. On the Columbia TriStar home video label, The Big Hit. This is a rental copy. Gee, how could I tell? Of course, I took my time, usual thing, inspecting every tape. Oops, I don't want to do that. This is supposed to be a really good movie, although I haven't seen it. Not yet, anyway. Elizabeth. Of course, I noticed that in the cast was featured Sir Richard Attenborough, who of course was in Jurassic Park, but I first remembered seeing him in the original version of Flight of the Phoenix with Jimmy Stewart. I know it was remade. I've got the remake also, but I preferred the Jimmy Stewart, Richard Attenborough version, which also had Peter Finch and Ernest Borgnine and George Kennedy and a number of other people. Classic film. Okay, next up, also on the Columbia TriStar home video label, Eye of the Beholder. Okay. On the Namesake Entertainment label, never heard of them. Left Behind, the movie. I don't know what they thought we would think it was in a VHS shell. Certainly not Left Behind the video game, or Left Behind the novel, or whatever. Label and everything look like it's in very good condition. Stanley Kubrick fan. And I saw this on Turner Classic Movies. This is based on a novel that they said was unfilmable. Of course, that didn't stop Stanley Kubrick from filming it. Lolita with James Mason. Shelley Winters and Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers was originally given a very small part. He kept ad-libbing, and Stanley Kubrick kept liking what he was doing, so he kept expanding the part. And of course, he used him again in Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. There's actually quite a bit of ad-libbing in that too. In fact, the scene, the classic scene on the phone between the president, played by Peter Sellers, and Russian Premier Kissoff, who you never see. It's a one-way conversation. We're only hearing Peter Sellers' side of the conversation. From the part where he says hello, the rest was ad-libbed. And from what I have read, Stanley Kubrick virtually leapt out of his chair after he said cut, because he just loved it. This is courtesy of the East Rockaway Public Library, wherever that is. At least somebody decided to try and remove a label they shouldn't have, or a sticker. Okay, I've been entering in slowly but surely. I'm way behind my collection at the DVD Aficionado database. Technically, that only tracks DVDs and Blu-rays released around the world. But you have a way to enter in your collection for other formats by creating folders, say a VHS folder, a Laserdisc folder, a UMD folder, and so forth. But you'd be surprised how many movies have not been released anywhere in the world on DVD or Blu-ray yet. And this is one of them. Now, they have something at DVD Aficionado called placeholder entries. If you have a film that you want to be able to place in one of your folders that has not yet been released, if you can find a decent cover or poster or whatever for them to use, then they will create a placeholder entry, assuming, of course, you provide them with all the information. This is one that I had to create a placeholder entry for. Not in this town. You would think a major company like Universal would have had one of their movies put out on, oh look, for rental, DVD or Blu-ray. But considering how many titles Universal owns, I guess that's asking too much. Because even back when the Laserdisc format launched, the whole reason they were launching their own home video format was because they had a library then of 11,000 titles that they wanted to be able to release on video. And you can imagine just how many have been released since. Okay, Ranma hat 1/2, Out of Control, Eat, Drink, Man Who Turns Into Woman. That's what it says. I have a lot of these Ranma tapes. I also have a lot of Ranma DVDs from Viz Video. I also have quite a few of these on VHS. Street Fighter 2. Special Orders to the Iron Men from Manga Video. Apparently 3 episodes per tape. Rama 1/2 has 2 episodes per tape. Okay. Something that I have rarely seen at the Laserdisc database is a new entry, a new title added to the CED portion of the database. But I recently purchased a CED title that was not in the database yet, which kind of surprised me because the format died in '86. I would have thought that most of, if not all, of the titles would be in there by now, but I came across one that wasn't. This entire series, according to CED Magic, was released on CED, as well as Laserdisc, as well as VHS and Betamax. But they only had one entry so far in the Laserdisc database for the CED releases, but not this one, so I went ahead and entered it in. This is factory sealed. This was a series, the brainchild of which was actress Shelley Duvall's, and she not only got a lot of people to work on it or be in it, but it was also produced to a very high standard. It was a very popular series called Fairy Tale Theater. This is The Tale of the Frog Prince, starring Robin Williams and Terry Garr. Sorry about the glare, but it's still sealed in plastic. Written and directed by Eric Idle. This is on the CBS Fox video label. Now, these are still sealed, but when I get around to showing them as part of my DVD ads, they won't be, because I've taken to unsealing DVDs when I show them so that they don't wind up with that same glare you just saw. Film with Raquel Welch. She was the sex goddess to kids in my elementary school when I was in elementary school. But I never heard of this film. Screenplay by Lawrence Semple Jr. This is a rather infamous film. Take Roger Vadim, who directed Barbarella. Take actors Rock Hudson, Angie Dickinson, Telly Savalas, Roddy McDowall, Keenan Wynn, Jimmy Doohan, who played Scotty on Star Trek. Take the creator of Star Trek and have him write the screenplay and produce. And what did you have? A film that bombed at the box office. Pretty Maids, all in a row. Even though I think this was originally released theatrically by MGM, it was put out DVD to order by Warner Archive. And widescreen. Cool thing about Warner Archive is they release new titles every single week. Roger Vadim, the director who uncovered Bridget Bardot, Catherine Deneuve, and Jane Fonda, not to mention he married Jane Fonda, now brings you The American High School Girl and Rock Hudson. Okay, I don't know if I showed it or not, but J-pop, like down there. I've got more J-pop coming. I've got more Swedish pop coming, not Agneta or ABBA. Okay, I make it in under 15 minutes. Until next time, stay awesome. I immediately noticed that in the cast is Haley Mills, who of course had a dual role in the original Parent Trap Disney film. I also noticed Britt Eklund and George Saunders. George Saunders, if I'm not mistaken, was in the British horror film that they switched to the slipcases eventually. But for the longest time they used these hard shell cases, which are preferable to the clamshell cases that Disney and Good Times used, because those tended to be squishable or crushable. Whoever owned this part of me felt the need to put their initial. Hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace back again with another 10 video ads video. I went by the flea market today and picked up another 16 VHS tapes, which put me at about 90 that I had not shown yet. I know I'm way behind on everything: laser discs, VHD discs, DVDs, VCDs, CDs, you name it, I'm behind. But I figured, well, I'm the furthest behind with VHS, so I'll go ahead and do a VHS pickups video, and at the end I'm going to try and tease a few things. I'm such a tease. First up, on the old Thorn EMI label, Endless Night, Village of the Damned, which had a sequel, Children of the Damned, and I know they remade Children of the Damned, but I don't know if they remade Village of the Damned or not. But all the Thorn EMI's releases up until I think a certain point, because I do think